The sky was a lazy gray, the kind of flat, emotionless gray that just hangs. The priest was murmuring prayers I couldn't hear. My wife Sarah was the only thing keeping me standing. Her hand crushed in mine. We were burying our son, our Danny, our funny, sweet 10-year-old boy. The world had shrunk to this small, quiet patch of unnaturally green grass. I'm a carpenter. I fix broken things. I build cabinets. I make joints fit perfectly, but not this. I couldn't fix him. And then the quiet. It just shattered. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't a sob. It was an engine. A low, arrogant growl. The kind of sound that doesn't belong in a place of peace. I saw heads turn. Amy's grip tightened. I followed her gaze and I saw it, a pearl-white Range Rover, just rolling off the cemetery path, onto the grass. My brain, it refused to process it. A groundskeeper maybe? Lost, but it kept coming. Right toward our little gathering, right toward the opened grave, where we were about to lay our son to rest. It stopped. With a soft, expensive sigh of its air suspension, its front right tire was resting squarely on the corner of the plot, Danny's grave, the gasp from our family. It was a physical punch. Father Michael, he stopped mid-prayer, his book trembling in his hands. The driver's door opened. And of course, it was Brenda Vance, the self-appointed queen of Willow Creek, the president of our homeowners association. She stepped out in a crisp beige pantsuit, looking like she was about to foreclose on a widow. Her blonde hair was shellacked into this perfect immovable helmet. She didn't look at us. She didn't look at the coffin. She walked to the front of her car and pointed a manicured finger at the priest. "Excuse me," she said. Her voice, it was so loud. "We need to wrap this up. This gathering is unpermitted and is violating community aesthetic guidelines." Father Michael just blinked. "Ma'am," he stammered, this is a burial. We are laying a child to rest." "Brenda," she waved him off. That little dismissive flip of the wrist. "Yes, I understand the situation," she said, just dripping with condescension. "But the bylaws are clear. No large assemblies without prior board approval. Furthermore, this display," she gestured at the flowers, "is excessive. It's creating a visual disruption." I felt this rage, this white-hot, pure fury, just shoot up my spine, but I couldn't move. I was just frozen. Amy, though. Amy. She was already in motion. Her phone was out. The little red light recording. She never missed a beat. "Brenda." She pulled a laminated card from her pocket, a badge, a fake cheap-looking eagle seal on it. "I am the president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association," she announced to my grieving family. "This is a compliance check. You have 5 minutes to disperse before I have to issue citations." And then she did it. She looked at Father Michael, who was just praying, trying to commend my son's soul to heaven. She put a finger to her lips, and she shushed him. She shushed a priest at my son's funeral. That was the moment. The disbelief in the crowd just curdled. "My brother-in-law." He took a step. I put a hand on his arm. "Not here. Not now." Brenda, oblivious, or maybe just proud, turned back to her SUV. She clicked her key fob, and the hazard lights began to flash. Blink, 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 orange light, washing over us, over him. And in that moment, standing over the abyss, I knew justice was the only thing left. "Amy." She made the call. The second Brenda shushed the priest, her voice low, steady. "A woman has driven her vehicle onto a burial plot during a funeral. She is refusing to move. The officers, Miller and Sanchez, they showed up. They saw Brenda, and she puffed up. This was her element. "Officers, thank you," she gushed. "I am Brenda Vance, president of the Willow Creek HOA. I'm conducting a compliance inspection. This assembly is unpermitted." She handed them this binder, full of papers. Pink highlights everywhere. "Officer Miller." He looked at the paper. Then he looked past her. He saw the coffin, that 4K drone footage. It was a nuke, our lawyer. My God, do not release this. "We go to the day now, but they'd only tagged a few graves. They'd be back. We couldn't let them." I made a call to a guy I know, Rhino, president of the local VFW, also president of a motorcycle club. The good kind. The veterans. The guys who do toy runs. I told him the whole story. The grave. The drone. There was just silence. Then, Rhino. Just, what time? You think she'll be back? Midnight, I said. Well, we'll be there, he said. And hung up. The next night, Amy and I, we went back. We brought chairs. A thermos. We were just going to sit. We were going to wait. 11:30 p.m. We heard it, a rumble, a rolling thunder, and then headlights. Dozens of them, 30 motorcycles. They rumbled up, parked in a perfect line. They were big men. Leather vests, patches, veterans, Rhino. He walked over, clapped me on the shoulder. We're just here to pay our respects, Mark. And his men, they filed in, silently. They formed a wall, a human wall, shoulder to shoulder. Silent sentinels. Around Danny's section, midnight Brenda's. White Range Rover creeps down the back road. She stops. She sees the bikes. She gets out. Her goons, Stan and Rick, they get out. They're carrying the toady. They walk toward the fence. And they freeze. They just stare at the wall of silent veterans. Nobody said a word. Brenda, her face, confusion, then annoyance, then anger, and then fear. She couldn't sight them. They weren't doing anything. They were just standing. She huffed, spun on her heel, marched back to her car, and sped off. Stan, he just dropped the tote and ran after her. The bikers, they just waited till the taillights were gone. Then they got on their bikes and rumbled off. Their job was done. The tote, full of violation stickers, was just sitting there. The DA loved the drone footage, but he said, we need a pattern. We need public pressure. And Brenda, she gave it to us. She called an emergency community meeting to address recent security concerns. A power move. Chatty Charlie, old man Jim, he had an idea. Let's throw a counterparty, he said. He's a retired news cameraman. The day of her meeting, she's got a podium on the community center lawn across the street. On Jim's lawn, he sets up a table, a webcam. And a big sign. Got an show story? Tell it here. Live. At first. No one then. Mrs. Finch, the unharmonious wind chimes lady. She walked up. She told her story about her late husband and the chimes, and that was it. The dam broke. Brenda's meeting. It emptied. Everyone crossed the street to get in line for Charlie's camera. They were holding up their citations. Yard melancholy. One guy shouts, cheering, aggressively cheerful gnomes. People were laughing, sharing, connecting. The live stream chat was exploding across the street. Brenda, she was just screaming into her microphone, but no one was listening. And then Amy's phone rings. She answers it, listens. Her eyes go wide. She holds the phone up to Charlie's microphone. Hello? A voice comes through the speaker. Mrs. Davis? This is Assistant District Attorney Markham. We've been watching your live stream. Can you and your husband come down to our office tomorrow morning? The crowd just erupted. Brenda, she just collapsed into her chair. The next meeting, that one, was inside. The last one, the board, Brenda, Stan, Rick. The other two, Amy, just stood up. That badge is a fake, she said, her voice clear. You bought it from http.google.com, search Kibawa Heights official looking badges for fun.com for $9.99. I have the receipt. She texted the screenshot to Charlie. He put it on the projector. The whole room saw it. Brenda's face side by side with the $9.99 Eagle, Stan, and Rick. They stared at the screen. They didn't know. They believed her. They looked at each other, and without a word, they stood up and walked out. They just resigned with their feet. Then the mousy woman, Carol, I resign, and scurried after them. The board just dissolved on live television, leaving Brenda all alone. at the table, with her. Fake seal, glowing on the screen, behind her, the trial. It was fast. The drone footage was devastating. Stan and Rick testified against her. Her only defense. She actually said it. I did it. For the community. We have to protect our property values. Property values. The jury was out for 1 hour. Guilty. All counts. The sentencing. The judge, she just looked at Brenda. Ma'am, she said, you were not protecting property values. You were committing crimes. You terrorized a grieving family. You had desecrated a sacred space. She looked at us in this courtroom. Human decency is valued far more than property values. Crack the gavel. 10 years. 10 years. We sued, of course. The HOA, we didn't want the money. We structured the settlement, all of it. Every penny it went into a trust to build the Danny Davis Memorial Garden for Children. Right there at the cemetery, a place of peace with flowers and harmonious wind chimes. The HOA board, they agreed to everything. The rain was over. We went back on the first anniversary. The garden, it's beautiful. I put my hand on his stone. It was quiet, a real quiet. This time, not the roaring silence of grief, just peace. We wanted peace. We earned it the hard way through justice. It still makes me wonder, though, what is the true cost of a perfect neighborhood? And who gets to decide what community standards are really worth what? What do you think?